Okay guys, welcome back to another part of the August SAT predictions. So the SAT is coming in 6 days and today I'm going to solve the other hard SAT questions. So we're going to start with the weighted means. A nutritionist is investigating the calorie content of 200 different food items by measuring the calories of each item. The mean calorie content of all 200 food items is 250 calories. The nutritionist classifies each of these food items as either low calorie or high calorie. Of the 200 food items, 60 items were classified as low calorie, and these 60 items have a mean calorie content of 150 calories. So I'm gonna underline this. So all 200 food items, 250 has a mean of 250 calories, and 60 items has a mean of 150 calories. The remaining 140 items were classified as high calorie. So, what is the mean calorie content of the 140 items classified as high calorie food items? So, firstly, we're going to find the total number of calories for the 200 different food items. So, it's going to be x divided by 200. It's going to be the mean. So, we have the mean of 250 calories. So, in order to find the total number of calories, we're going to take 250 times 200. When we plug in the calculator, we're going to have 50,000. So for the 60 food items, we're going to have the mean of 150 calories. So we're going to have x2 for the total number of 60 items divided by 60. It's going to be a mean of 150 calories. So in order to find the total number of calories for 60 items, I'll take 150 times 60. We're going to have 9,000. Okay, so for 140 items, we're gonna have the x3 divided by 140. We have the mean. We're gonna call the mean this x. So we're gonna have 140x. So as we put in this equation, we're gonna have firstly the total number of calories for 60 items, which is 9,000, plus total number of the 140 items, which is 140x. So we're going to divide it by 200, which is the total number of food calories, 200 different food items divided by 1,640. We're going to have 200. So now the other side is going to be 250 calories, which is the mean. So in order to find the total, we're going to multiply both sides by 200. As we do this, we're going to find the value of x. So as we cross this out, we're going to have left 9,140x to 50,000. So 140x equals 50,000 minus 9,000. We're gonna have 41,000. Divide that by 140. We're gonna have the answer of x equals to 292.86. So that's gonna be the mean calorie content for 140 items classified as high calorie food items. So that's it. Okay guys, so we're going to move on to another question. Constants or coefficients. Which of the following equations displays as constants or coefficients the coordinates of the vertex? So we're going to look for an equation that shows the actual coordinates of the vertex. So for A, that shows the solution for an equation, which is -2, and 5. So we're going to cross that out. For B, that's not even a quadratic equation, so we're going to cross that out 2. And for C, it shows the y-intercept for -7. So we're going to cross that out 2. And for D, this is the example of an equation of a vertex, which is y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. So for this, a is going to be 1 times x minus 2 squared plus -7. So coordinates for the vertex is going to be hk. So h is going to be -2, k is going to be -7. So D is going to be the answer. Okay, next question. For the exponential function f, the value of f1 is m. So f1 equals to m, which is a constant. So which of the following equivalent forms of the function f shows the value of m as the coefficient of the base? So for a, 52 times 1.5 to the power of x plus 1. If we put 1 in there, that's going to be 52 times 1.5 to 2, which is not a constant. So we're going to cross that out. For b, we put 1 in this one, you're going to have 90 times 1.5, not also a constant. So for c, we put 1 here, we're going to have 152 times 1.5 to the power of 1 minus 1 equals 0. It's going to be 1, so it's going to be 152. So that's going to be the correct answer. So for D, 256 times 1.5 to the power 1 minus 2 is going to be -1. So that's not also a constant. So D is also incorrect. So the final answer is C. Let's go on with another question. Tricky absolute value questions. So the equation 7, absolute value of x minus 4 equals k, where k is a constant, has exactly one solution. So one solution. Which of the following could be the value of k over 7? So we're going to write 7 minus 4 equals k. So the graph for the absolute value looks gonna look like this. Here. And there's only going to be one solution right here. So we're going to find the value of it. So 7 over 7 going to be 7 over here. 7, cross it out. We're going to have left x minus 4. Absolute value equals to k over 7. So we're gonna have the solutions of x minus 4 equals to k over 7, and x minus 4 equals to -k over 7. So this question is asking for one solution only. So we're gonna let these two solutions be equal to each other so that they have only one solution. So let k over 7 equals to -k over 7. The only way you can let this equal to get to each other, we're going to need to have k equals to 0. So if k is equals to 0, so means that 0 over 7 equals to -0 over 7. So 0 equals to 0. So that's going to be C only. C, 0 only. Okay, let's move on with another reading and writing question. The Arctic Alpine Botanic Garden in Norway and the Jardim Botanico of Rio de Janeiro in Brazil are two of the many botanical gardens around the world dedicated to growing diverse plant blank, fostering science research, and educating the public about plant conservation. Which choice completes the text so that it conforms to the conventions of standard English? So we're going to look over the answer for. So for A, that's incorrect because a comma here, a comma after non-native, can't be used in this way to separate items in a complex series. So we're going to cross that out. So for B is the correct answer because convention being tested in the punctuation of items in a complex series. The semicolon after non-native is correctly used to separate the first item, growing diverse plants, both native and non-native, and the second item, fostering scientific research in the series of things that botanical gardens are dedicated to. The comma in the species is correctly used to separate the noun phrase diverse plant species and the supplementary phrase both native and non-native, which modifies it. So B is going to be the answer. So for C, that is incorrect because a semicolon right here, that semicolon can't be used in this way to separate the noun phrase diverse plant species and the supplementary phrase both native and non-native that modifies it. A comma can be used in this way to separate items in a complex series, so that's not gonna be the answer. So for D is incorrect also because it fails to use appropriate punctuation to separate the noun phrase diverse plant series species and supplementary phrase both native and non-native that modifies it. A comma can be used in this way to separate a complex series once again. So that's not gonna be the answer also. So the final answer is gonna be B. Okay, so let's go on with another question. Two numbers A and B are each greater than 0, and the square root of A is equal to the cube root of B. For what value of x is a to the power of 3x minus 4 equal to b? So firstly, the square root of a is going to be this equals to cube root of b. So that's going to be a to the power of 1/2 equals to b to the power of 1/3. So after that, we're going to have a to the power of 3x minus 4 equals to b. In order to have this value, we're going to solve this to the power of 3. We're going to have a to the power of 3 over 2 equals to b to the power of 1. So b equals to a to the power of 3 over 2, which means that when you hear b is equals to a to the power of 3x minus 4, so 3x minus 4 is going to be 3 over 2. So 3x is going to be 11 over 2. So x will be equal to 11 over 6. So that's going to be the answer for x. Okay, so for the next question, it's going to be about probability given statements. The table summarizes the distribution of age and assigned group for 105 participants in the study. So this is a table. One of the participants is selected at random from the group. What is the probability that the participant will be from group A given that the participant is younger than 20 years old? So a participant will be from group A, younger than 20 years old. Younger than 20 years old, we're going to cross the part out, which means we're going to also cross this part out. So from group A, we're going to take this part over here, which is 7 plus 17, we're going to have 24. And we're going to take younger than 20 years old, so we're going to have 35 and 35. 35 plus 35, we're going to have 70. So the probability for the participant to be from group A is 24 over 70. So in the SAT, we will need to make that smaller. So 24 over 70 gonna be 12 over 35, or 0.343. Or you can write either way, it's okay, but the SAT is gonna require a shortened answer. Okay, so we're gonna move on to a question about interpreting an exponential growth equation. So fx equals 36 times 1.24 to the power of x over 5. For the given function f, the value of fx increases by p% for every increase of x by 10. What is the value of p? So if we put x equals 0 for this, we're going to have the original value of fx. So as we put x equals 0, So 36 times 1.24 over 0 divided by 5. So we're going to have 36 times 1 plus 36 is the original value. So for every increase of x by 10, we're going to have x equals 10. So we will have f10 equals 36 times 1.24, 10 divided by 5. So 36 times 1.4 to the power of 2. So as we put that in the calculator, we're going to have the value of 55.35. So for the value f increased by p%, so we're gonna calculate the percent of change. So it's gonna be the new value minus the original value divided by the original value multiplied by 10 multiplied by 100 equals to the new value is 55.35 minus the original value is 36 over the original value, which is 36 multiplied by 100. We're gonna have 19.5. We're gonna have 19.35 over 36 multiplied by 100. So the answer is gonna be put in the calculator, it will be 53.75%. So that's gonna be our answer. So let's move on with another understanding function notation and exponent rules. Fx equals c to the power of x. The function fx, c is a constant, and f of 5 equals 16 times f3. What is the value of c? So firstly, we're gonna have f5 equals, as this equation, we're gonna have c to the 5 and force, and we're gonna have 16 times. So f of 3, we're gonna have c to the power of 3. So 16. So c to the power of 5 is going to, we already have c to the power of 3. So the other part will be c to the power of 2. So c to the power of 5 equals c to the power of 2 times c to the power of 3. So the value of c is going to be, so 16 is equal to c squared. So we're gonna square root this, we're gonna have 4. So c is gonna be 4. Okay, next question. Tickets sell for $47 each of the first 25 people. After the first 25 people, any remaining tickets sell for $65 each. What is the equation that models this, given n is the number of people and n is greater than 25? So firstly, the original value for, so we're gonna have $47 for the first 25 people. So 47 times 25. And after the first 25 people, the remaining tickets will sell for $65 each. So many people will think that the next thing I'm going to do will be plus 65, and so that's absolutely wrong, because after the first 25, we're going to have to take away the first 25. We are not going to count the 25 people twice. So we're going to take away the first 25. So we're going to have plus 65. For $65 each, we're going to have 65 times n minus 25. We are not going to count the 25 people twice. Okay, let's put this in the calculator. So 47 times 25, we're gonna have 1175 plus 65n minus 65 times 25, we're gonna have minus 1625. So we're gonna have 1175 minus 1625. We're gonna have 65n minus 450. Gonna be the answer. So A is gonna be the answer. So we're gonna move on with another standard deviation question. Which of the following values would decrease the standard deviation of the set below? 48, 53, 55, 57, 63, and 66. So firstly, we're gonna understand what standard deviation means. So it means that it increases as the data spreads out, and it decreases as the data is concentrated. So 23 is gonna be answered because these data are around 48 to 66, and 23 is much below 48. So that's not gonna be the answer because it spreads out. So that's gonna increase the standard deviation, not decrease. For 56 is the answer because it's around 48 to 66 because it is less spread out, so the standard deviation is going to decrease. So less spread out. So for 93, that's not gonna be the answer too because this will increase the standard deviation because it spreads the value out. Because 92 is much further away from 66. And D is not the answer. So the final answer is gonna be B. So let's move on with another reading question. Sociologist Alton Okinaka sits on the review board tasked with adding new sites to the Hawaii Register of Historic Places, which includes Pilan Hill, and the Opecus Road Bridge. Okinaka doesn't make such decisions blank. All historical designations must be approved by a group of 9 other experts from the field of architecture, archaeology, history, and Hawaiian culture. Which choice completes the text there so that it conforms to the conventions of standard English? So first we're gonna see this sentence here and this one sentence here. We see that those two sentences are different independent clauses. So let's see the answer. We're gonna look for the semicolon. So for C, it doesn't have a semicolon, so we're gonna cross that out immediately. And for D also, it doesn't have a semicolon to separate two independent clauses. So what we have left is A and B. So how do we know if this A or B? So normal people are going to choose B because this will look like the correct answer because the semicolon first and after a comma would be separating a different sentence. But as we read this, Okinaka doesn't make such decision. However, if we put however before Okinaka doesn't make decision. However, Okinaka doesn't make such decision. And then a semicolon. All historical designation must be approved by a group of other 9 other experts from the fields of architecture. This is a contrast from the first sentence, not the second sentence. So that if we put the however after single-handedly right here, that's gonna make sense. But for B, if we say Okinaka doesn't make such a decision single-handedly, and then we stop there and continue to the next clause. However, all the historical destination must be approved by a group of other 9 experts. So that doesn't make sense because the first clause we are contrasting. So we're gonna have However, for the first clause, not the second clause, so the answer is going to be A. Moving on to another question. The given equation ax squared plus 78x plus c equals 0, where a and c are constants, has no real solutions, and a factor of gx plus p. The product of ac is greater than k. What is the least possible value of k? Okay, so there are three discriminant values. The types of solution can be written as b squared minus 4 ac is greater than 0, which means that we have two real solutions. And b squared minus 4ac equals to 0, which means we have one real solution. If b squared Moving on to another question. The given equation ax squared plus 78x plus c equals 0, where a and c are constants, has no real solution, and a factor of gx plus p. The product of ac is greater than k. What's the possible value of k? So for our discriminant value and its types of solution are written as b squared minus 4ac greater than 0, which means we have two real solutions. And bx squared minus 4ac is equal to 0, which means we have one real solution. And b squared minus 4ac less than 0, which means we have zero real solution, or two complex solution. So in this problem, b squared minus 4ac is 78 squared minus 4ac. It said that it has no real solution, which means it is less than 0. So 78 squared is 6084 minus 4ac less than 0. 6084 less than 4ac. Then ac is going to be less than 1521. So it says this product of ac is less than k. So the least possible value of k, I'm going to write this again, ac greater than 1521, which is the least value. So the k is going to be equal to 1521, which is the answer. Okay, let's move on with another volume and surface area question. So the table gives a volume and surface area of two similar rectangles where k is constant. We have rectangle A and rectangle B with volume and surface area. So the rules for the scale factor is that the volume scale factor will be the scale factor to the power of 3. For the surface area, scale factor will be the scale factor to the power of 2. And let's calculate the scale factor for this one and this one, which is the volume. So we're gonna take 1,500,282 divided by 4,374. So we're gonna have 343, the scale factor for the volume. So how do you find the normal scale factor? So we're gonna take the cube root of this number. As we put in the calculator, we will have 7. So it's asking us the value of rectangle B, the surface area of the rectangle B. So we have to use this scale factor square. So we're gonna take 7 square, which is a scale factor, equal to 49. So we're gonna take 1782 multiplied by 49, and we will have 87,318, which is C. Okay, we'll move on to another English convention question. The Tuckett Legion Museum in Uncasville, Connecticut was founded in 1931 with the goal of showcasing the culture and history of Mohegan blank today. Nearly a century later, it is the oldest native-owned and operated museum in the country. So this phrase here is an independent clause. And from today, to operate museum in the country is also an independent clause. So remember, the only way we can separate them, but not the only way, but in this question, only A could support this because a comma and a fanboy will separate two independent clause. So we wouldn't have to think of these other answers. So the final answer is A.